morning there. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko. We hope that you had an amazing weekend and you're ready to conquer your week. Looking at Ibrahima right here, he seems that he's all set for the week ahead of him to make all the money in the world, you know, good health and everything ahead of this particular week. What are some of the plans?
Well, Jenna, but you know, in life you have to hope and pray. You know, the beginning of your week, I mean, should not be
Boring.
I mean, you have to be hopeful that the days ahead would be, you know, at least bright. So I'm hopeful.
hope kese hope nini empty hope nini tahula am halis de
hope tam nga def ci some effort
Fong nga def
pour nga muna lifin. Why we are hopeful?
def si la de
Adina mom yefi
hope
hope
munu
la
ta
rek.
indi dara fi
Hope and pray. Hope and pray.
I just wish just that, you know, can bring all the successes that we need. But today we are joined by Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, the Minister for Information and currently acting under the Ministry of Digital Economy as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Are you hoping and praying too? Because Balde mom fofuloko base at this point.
First I walk.
Yes.
And then I hope. No, and then I pray and I hope.
Okay.
Doctor, hope comes before walk and pray. You hope, then you walk.
No, you walk first.
You have the hope from your house. Okay, I hope Nedinaba.
No.
Then you pray. Then you go out and
No,
walk.
you walk
or
first.
you didn't pray this morning?
You walk first. you walk first. Then you pray and you hope that your walk and your prayers will be answered. And your work will deliver.
Well, doctor, I cannot take that. I did not connect that well.
You have to work hard.
Yes.
Wa xam nga ku nekk ak sa own perspective. Ku nekk ak noo dee mun a defee sa ay mbir ak noo ko dee gisee. Waaw.
Man daal dama foog ne docteur laa àndal man hope kese man du dee work pour man.
No, waaye hope ak pray laa wax ba pare nga liggéey. Wax naa ko di.
Soo hope fekk defuloo da ngaa liggéey ba pare. nga hope ne li nga liggéey. dina la njëriñ. ba pare nga ñaan yàlla. man
nga hope ne loo ñaan yàlla
dina ko nangu.
So hope moo dee mujjee ñëw.
waaw su njëkkee rek du baax dafa empty.
dafa xaw a jaxasoo si man.
waaw baax na comme ni ma ko waxee ku nekk ak noo ko bëgg a defee rek. But doctor, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. You'll be here with us for the newspaper review, and also we'll be talking about the ATI commissioners, and because the National Assembly has okayed the employment of these commissioners last week, which we are very happy about, obviously as a media house, because this will enable access to information. But to start with the papers, social media over the weekend, you know, a lot of discussions happened, and this was in relation to the launch of the NPP bureau in Birkama. Remarks were made by President Adama Barrow that were directed to the leader of the United Democratic Party, saying that he vows to rule as long as Dabo is alive. And a lot of reactions are coming on because of this statement. Some are calling it threat, you know, to the leader of the United Democratic Party. A lot of people say it's unpresidential. A lot of people going online to show their solidarity to the leader of the United Democratic Party. So at the level of the government, you know, how are you dealing with this? What do you think about it as information minister?
Well, I think the good things, the brilliant, wonderful things that happened at the event should not be overshadowed by political remarks made by His Excellency the President. What happened in Brikama shows that the President still has full support in Brikama politically. We saw the crowd. It shows that many people thought that NPP didn't have that much support in Brikama. What happened at that event showed that His Excellency the President has total support in Brikama, politically speaking. And he said some very good things there. The bureau was a wonderful bureau, well built. I think that should have been the focus. But however, concerning the statements, I think it's important for people to understand that His Excellency President will never make threats. No threats were made in the first place. No wish for anybody's death was made at that event. Thirdly, the President is a very harmless man. He would never wish Ousainou Darboe to die. He would never do that. And then the fourth thing is that there is mutual respect between the two men. That will outlive both of them. They have mutual respect for each other. They have mutual affection for each other. So for me, I think people take these things out of context and take them to a level where it should not be taken to. Let's look at the bigger picture, that is the relationship between Honorable Ousainou Darboe and His Excellency the President. That is what is important.
Yes, Doctor, I mean, the statement created a lot of noise, I mean, over the weekend. And you mentioned there is a huge respect between lawyer Ousainou Darboe and President Adama Barrow. Lawyer Darboe being a statesman, a person who really sacrificed for this country. Okay, this statement doesn't go down well with many people in the Gambia and abroad. So is there any plan that the president will somehow try to mend that, I mean, statement again?
To mend what? What statement?
To apologize.
No, I mean, why would he apologize for? Apologize for what? It's a political statement. And the president, obviously, when he speaks, mountains move. We've seen that happen many times. But for me, I think people that are blowing this out of proportion, they're taken out of context. There's a very good relation between the two people, and they fondly really, you know, attack each other in political platforms, which behind the scenes they are very good. They have a very good relationship. So I don't see that as a big issue like people are. But in a democracy, people can interpret things as they wish. But for me, I don't think this will take anything away from the relationship the two men have.
I think it will take something from the relationship that they have, considering that the United Democratic Party also came out with a statement about this issue. They're taking it very, very seriously. And also, don't you think it is wrong that the President of the Republic of the Gambia is not focusing on issues currently that Gambians want solutions to? For example, the Kush, the irregular migration, and other important issues that are happening in the country, rather than personal attacks, you know, between political leaders. Like you said, this is politics, but at this point in time where our country is with, you know, different challenges that exist, don't you think energies should be directed to those things rather than, you know, the personal attacks?
But you get this wrong.
Parties?
A political platform is not the place where a president should deal with those issues. The president deals with those issues on a daily matter, from Monday to Sunday, not at a political rally. When he goes to a political rally, he speaks politics, and that's what he did. The Kush issue, the security issue, cost of living issue are issues that the presidency deals with on a daily basis. So for me, the people who say there should have been the issue, that is not the issue. That's politics. On a daily basis, 24 hours, the president is concerned about the Kush issue. The president is concerned and focused about issues of cost of living crisis. The president is worried and deals with issues on security and other important issues. So taking 2-3 hours off to do his politics should not mean that the president is not focusing on important issues. He is indeed focusing on important issues, and he does it 24 hours a day.
But politics also comes with these issues that I'm talking about, you know. At this point, I just feel like Gambians deserve, you know, some sort of attention to detail, like I said.
But they have that attention.
But in this particular rally at Birkama, the attention, because Birkama is part of communities that are affected by Kush, that are affected by irregular migration, that are affected by a lot of things. That could have been a platform to talk about those things.
But why would it be a platform when you go to open a political bureau doing politics? That's not necessarily Mirasto.
Yeah, you can use that platform to reassure.
Actions speak rather than words. On a daily basis, the president's actions and deeds are geared towards solving those issues. That is what is important, not what he said in a political rally.
But, well, it matters, because in a political rally, you're also selling an agenda. An agenda also means what the Gambians need at a particular point in time, especially people who live in Birkama.
Yeah, but the president spoke about it. The president spoke about how the councils are not doing their job. Not only the speaker after speaker spoke about how recently you saw the dirt, the lack of sanitation in the market in Birkama. He spoke about it. He called out the councils for not doing their job, and that is important. It's affecting people. So the president cannot say everything in a political rally in a very short speech. The most important thing is the president is dealing with these issues. The country is moving. The country now has more open democratic space. It is one of the most peaceful, stable democracies in the subcontinent.
Talking about peace,
so
the president is named as, you know, one of the most peaceful presidents in, you know, the sub-region. So don't you think it's quite ironical that you were named peaceful and then you were making such utterances, you know, as a president of the country?
Jenaba, when you are at home with your grandfather and you are joking with it, don't you tell your grandfather, there is some relation between Ousainou Darboe and Adama Barrow. Don't get into it. Don't get in between them. They have their ways of doing it. That's why when you see President speaks of Nafum Farmer, he laughs. It's between them. Don't get into that.
But in
doctor,
this instant, it is beyond them.
No, it is not beyond.
It is beyond them in this instant.
You people took it out of context and took it to a level where it should not be. They have a very friendly relationship between them. When he speaks in Farmer, he laughs. They know each other. They've been together for a long time, before me and you were born. So don't get into their personal issues.
No, actually, I'm not getting into their personal lives, but these are the questions that the Gambian people are asking.
The president never made a threat. The president never wished for Dabo to die. The president made a statement, and I think that the two of them had a very mutual respect for each other. The affection between each other is mutual. I think statements made in a political rally should just be made statements. The most important thing is let's focus on the bigger picture, what the president is doing to solve the cost of living crisis. But
you talked about the fact that in a political rally, the president cannot talk about all issues.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the president speaks, you see, with the president, he's an action man, very pragmatic. His actions speak louder than his words. The man is solving on a daily basis our problems. Let's focus on the $1 billion subsidy in agriculture. Let's speak about the $200 million every year on subsidy on food.
That is one
Let's
thing.
speak about the things he's doing to mitigate the cost of living crisis.
That is there, but we are talking about the burning issues. Are you not aware of what the Kush is doing?
No,
are you not aware of the irregular migration, the amount of young people who are dying? What is government doing to ensure that surveillance is done? For example, empowering the Navy to ensure that they're out there.
The Navy has new boats working with the Spanish to police our waters, to stop irregular migration.
Then it's not effective, because
why?
On a daily basis a boat is going.
Yeah, but if people go to take boats in different places, think no country in the world, even go to France. Do you think the British, with the French, with all their might, can they stop the boats crossing the channel? On a daily, it's a challenge in the UK, to the extent that the British government want to take people to Rwanda. British, with all their navy, with all their might, the French, with all their might, they cannot stop the crossing in the channels. Every day, irregular migrants are crossing the channel. Do you think Gambia can stop every boat that is leaving our shores? It's not possible. Nobody can do that. We have a very huge coast, a very long coast. We cannot stop it. But what we are doing is that the Navy is on top of it. The Navy, recently there's an Al Jazeera report. Go and watch it. Ahmed Idris joined the Navy in a boat patrolling our waters, but we cannot stop each and every single boat. If the British and the French cannot stop the crossings in the channels with all their might and their Navy, what can Gambia do?
Doctor, let me remind you of the words of President Adama Barrow at this particular rally, just to bring your mind back. He said, I'm taking an oath today that I, President Adama Barrow, I will remain in office until Usainu Dabo passes away. That is a contract that I've signed. I will only relinquish the presidency when that is announced of my father, Usainu Dabo, and the news is confirmed. And I will attend the funeral and we lay him to rest. Only then I'll step down from the presidency. And you're saying that this is a father and daughter relationship. Father and son. This is beyond father and son. This is affecting people.
Geneva, it's not affecting. Which people is it affecting? You are blowing this out of proportion.
Well, based on what we see.
The president, His Excellency, is a very harmless man, very compassionate man, a man who is very religious, a man who would wish nobody, not even a fly, harm. He would never wish Usainu Dabo harm. He has huge respect for Usainu Dabo. People can interpret those statements however they want to interpret it. What I'm telling you is that let's focus on the bigger picture that the country is facing and what the president is doing to solve those problems on a daily basis. That is what is important. For me, what the president said in the political rally to his father, who he respects so much, for me, I don't think so that should be a point of discussion.
Well, Doctor,
He's the president. Whatever, like you mentioned, whatever he says is a point of discussion, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So if he makes such utterances, it is expected.
One of the most popular presidents in the continent. So when he speaks, mountains move.
I would have suggested, maybe an apology, but Doctor said,
apology for what? Why should he apologize? Apologize for what? This was you.
So
don't blow these things out of proportion. The president has enough respect for. I think this is what is important, and that is the key takeaway should take with you is that the president will harm nobody. He would wish nobody harm, not Usainu Dabo, not even his enemies. And Usainu is not his enemy. He has huge respect for Usainu Dabo. So people are blowing this. People can interpret this however they want to interpret it. Blowing it out of proportion. But what I'm telling you is that the president is focusing on delivering his promises, the mandate that is given to him by the government in 2021. He's delivering it, and also he might seek for another mandate in 2026. That is his focus. But for now, these things are political talks, and we don't want to get in between father and son. It's father and son banter.
All right, I am pretty sure if these words were directed to President Adama Barrow,
Yeah,
Today, today the police would have called that individual for
but
question.
Usainu Dabo recently called him a thief. And in fact, that is the context here. That is, you see, that's why I don't always focus on what he said. Usainu Dabo said, President stole the land of the Chief Justice in Bakau. And that is what the president was referring to. It's a land issue. Now, if somebody calls a president a thief, and that did not make you journalists take it out of proportion, why should this be an issue? It's in response to what that he called him a thief, that he stole, and in fact he said that when he comes to power, he'll take that land away from the president because the president stole it. So this is in response to that. So that's why I said this thing is politics, and I think let's focus on the bigger pictures. So obviously, and the president was addressing that issue, saying that Usainu Dabo applied for land for his wife and daughter when he was vice president, and then when he left the vice presidency, he still got the land for his wife and daughter. And the president said that in that statement. But people are not talking about that, not focusing on those issues. We are focusing on something that we want to focus on. But I think the president is focused. He cannot be distracted. He has a mandate to deliver, and he's delivering that mandate. He's making sure that he's doing things to mitigate the cost of living crisis. He's solving the problems of crime in this country. He's making sure farmers get what they need, seeds and fertilizer, to be able to deliver and farm properly so they can be able to take care of their families. He's building roads, he's building hospitals, he's building schools. What else can you demand from a president?
Anyway, let's move on now. We started the topic of the irregular migration, and you're talking about a partnership between the Gambia and the Spanish to ensure proper patrol. Can you delve into that further?
Yes, of course.
Because 43 Gambians have survived and others die in a shipwreck off Mauritania just recently.
No country in the world can totally police their waters. It's not possible. Like I said, even the French and the British, with all their might, there are still crossings in the channel. Just a couple of weeks ago, a boat capsized, a dinghy boat, and people died. In Greece, people are dying. Irregular migration is a complex problem. No single country can solve it. We are collaborating with the Spanish to minimize it. What we can do is to minimize. No country can stop it totally. And the government of the Gambia is doing everything to minimize it. But again, it's not only the responsibility of young people, also take responsibility. If people decide to go in small boats and go on a daily basis, how can government stop it totally?
Okay.
So the issue that the government is doing all it can.
The question there is then, what is the role of the government when, excuse me, they're not out yet? Because doctor, at this point, families are going. A mother, a father, and their children, and the mother pregnant are leaving the Gambia. Does that not show you that there's something off? There's a sign of, desperate need. People are. And you're talking about government solving the cost of living. I'm not sure about that.
What I'm telling you that there are opportunities in this country that young people must ensure that they take advantage of those responsibilities. I'll tell you something. One of the countries attracting the largest international migrants in the subcontinent is Gambia. People are coming from everywhere to come and look for jobs, and they're working. People have to make it. It's a matter of choice. Migration is a matter of personal choice. Nobody is forcing anybody to go out. If people decide to go,
there are internal factors forcing people to go.
But it's a matter of choice. Even if you go to Mexico, people are moving to the US. Migration is complex, like I'm telling you, you should know that. Exactly. So what I'm telling you,
migration is complex.
What I'm telling you is that people have a choice to stay and take advantage of the opportunities available in this country and make a living, or make a choice to leave.
What are these opportunities?
Job opportunities are in this country. There are vocational skill training in this country. We've built more skills training centers than ever before in history of this country.
But young people say after they're trained with their skills, they do not have
how many young people, how many young people are trained in the Techifi program that are now mobile repairers, and they're working here. You know how many people are solar installations, they are working here, they're making it. How many people are we've created the 2-year program, they are now doing this delivery service, the fat and these things. Young people are making it in this country. What we are not good at is, what we are not good at is,
yes, I mean,
profiling the good ones and see this what we've done, and we are doing that now. The good examples. If you don't show the good examples, the bad examples are the ones that overshadow the good. But there are many young people who, to the Techifi and the year programs, have really been supported, and are making it. Recently, the Ministry of Youth and Sports gave revolving loans to many young people to get into poultry, to get into animal husbandry. Many young people are making it in this country.
Yeah.
But we like drama. When a boat is gone, there's an accident, it's a tragedy, nobody wants it. it takes the news headlines. But we don't talk about the good things, the support we give to young people in animal husbandry, the money we are giving to women, over 800 and something women, 8,000 women in West Coast region and LRR, in terms of revolving loan to get into business. It's a lot of things that are happening in this country, but people are benefiting from it.
But whose responsibility is it to make sure that, you know, these things are known?
People is our, because we advertise it. Recently at the press conference, the Ministry of Youth and Sports advertised it openly. So,
but then when the advertisement of these grants happen as well, you know, do you also consider the allegations of, you know, corruption where it is allocated?
There are no allegations of corruption.
Well, grants have had allegations as such,
where it's
not given to the right people.
There is no evidence I have not seen any evidence, and this is the first time I'm hearing it. I've not heard it before.
In the past.
Well, Doctor, you know, for us,
what I'm saying is that to the Minister of Youth and Sports, to the Minister of Gender, there are huge opportunities. Recently, the government has ordered 20 fishing boats for women and youth, young people to get into fishing as well. All these are opportunities. Recently, we've ordered 180 tractors to support farmers. They're on their way. Recently, Ministry of Youth and Sports starts revolving loans, helping people into animal husbandry. Go to North Bank, young people are into poultry. Go to somewhere, government has given support for a very young man to expand his poultry and also his agricultural business. So things are happening in this country, and people have to come out and look for those opportunities. You don't sit at home for those opportunities to come. There are people who they are fixed that they want to travel, no matter what you give them in this country. You cannot stop them. And these are the people who are, we've said, they are in involuntary immobility. They've planned that they are going. Nothing can stop them. And you cannot do anything about it. They are sitting and waiting to travel.
There is a percentage who do not have opportunities.
But
I talk to young people, I deal with young people, and there are a percentage who are ready to work, but they do not have the opportunities. That is just the hard fact.
What I'm saying, opportunities are created sometimes. There are opportunities right now. Sometimes, if you don't have a skill, you cannot get a job. Not everybody can go to university. What we can do, what government can do, is to provide the right enabling environment. We build vocational institutes. Let them go and train themselves in skills. There are skills building institutes all over the country now. We're building Kanilai in different parts of the country. In fact, we even took it to Basse. We took it out to the province so that young people can benefit from it. But we cannot sit and say, where are our opportunities unfolding in hand? You have to go and look for opportunities. That is the problem. But we, as a government, Gambia is not a resource-rich country. We don't have gold, no diamond, no oil, nothing. What we have is what we can do. And people have to also understand that no country in the world, even if you go to the US, they have huge unemployment. UK, Germany, all these countries are facing challenges of unemployment. Sierra Leone, Nigeria. You cannot solve everybody's problem.
But if the percentage is huge, then that is not a good sign.
How huge is the percentage? Well, what is the data? What is the
Well, I was going to ask you about data of the employment provided by government. What is the data?
Our level, we interact with the people. I mean, we know what their pains are.
Yes.
You understand? There are people that, so their businesses and they're left for the back way. This means it's not working.
Not necessarily.
Maybe you might
not necessarily. I'll tell you something.
You might be like, okay, we've trained them, they got this, we are creating opportunities. But are the opportunities benefiting them? Sometimes,
I'll tell you something. It depends on what people want. You see, we live in a society where two things are problematic. One is the dependency syndrome, and two is the consumer lifestyle, the new consumer lifestyle. You have a shop as a young man. You are making money, but not enough to take care of an extended family who depends on you. But also, you want to build a big house. You see Jenaba driving a nice car. You want to drive a nice car. You see somebody having an iPhone 50. So once you don't have those things, you see somebody going to Germany, coming back, and changing the lifestyle of their parents. You want to do that. But your business can sustain you, but cannot give you those things. But let me tell you something. The people you see today make it, and we call their names. It took them 20, 25 years for them to reach where they are today. We, the young people of today, we want to have things very quickly. We want to start business today. After 2-3 years, you want to be millionaires in that. It's not possible. It's not. We have to be honest with each other. We cannot start a business today and think that in 2-3 years I can buy a car from that business and build my compound from that business. It takes time and hard work and perseverance to be able to be successful in that business. The big names you are hearing today in this country, go and bring them here on this platform. Let them tell you where they started and where they are today. It takes perseverance and hard work and patience to succeed. But we, the young people of today, I want to start a business today and think that in 2 years, I'll buy a car and build a house. Because why? Jenaba just bought a car from Germany. So when they have that mentality, you see, there are the push and the pull factors of migration. The pull factors are what we see in Europe on social media. Jenaba, my friend, is gone last year. I have seen him living a very nice life in Europe. Within 2 years, he sent his parents to Mecca. Within 3 years, he built a story building. Within 4 years, he sent a car to the parents. I want to do the same thing. I'm in Gambia, but it's not the same. And I make a choice that I want to sell my business and go. What can the government do about that? What can the government do about that?
Don't you think the enabling environment was there for the previous maybe businessmen that made it? I mean, you mentioned if you go through the history of these people, you'll find out they've gone through a lot. It took them like 25 years to make it. Don't you think there was real hope and the environment was really enabling for them to make it? But if you don't see hope, I mean, if you don't feel there'll be hope here, in the future it will be better.
What I'm saying is that if you are looking for a country with hope, it's Gambia and its entire sub-region.
Doctor, are you
In fact,
sure?
I'm telling you, young people are moving from Burkina Faso, Guinea, Senegal, coming to Gambia to hustle. And they make it and go back to their countries. Right now, if you look at the route between Sierra Leone and Gambia, it's moving fast, between Guinea and Gambia. People are coming here making it. Why can't we make it? When we were young, we used to see people come from Guinea. They start by selling bitter cola and cola, and holding that small table. Within a short period, they have a shop. You see, we need to change the mentality. You see, the mindset is what is important. We have to change our mindset as Gambians. So we cannot blame everything on government.
Due to time
we cannot blame everything on government. You see, we have to change our mindset. We need to change our mindset as Gambians and be more creative and go for the opportunities and be hardworking and be patient. Let me tell you something. The people who you see today are living in, have the privilege. They did not work for that privilege. Their parents worked for it. You cannot expect me now to be a millionaire now. What I need to do is to make sure that I prepare my children to not be living a poor life as myself. The young man who's thinking of going to Europe, he cannot think of being a millionaire in Gambia. Let him work hard to ensure that he gives his family and his children good education so they don't also take the back way to go to Europe. But what we want is quick fix. We want to be rich very quick because we've seen people going to Europe, coming back very quickly, and their lives are transformed. But not everybody can make it. If I cannot go to Europe, I'm in Gambia. Before I go, I have to look for the opportunities here. I have to go and make sure I go out and see what is available and work hard day and night to make sure I make a living for myself, have a family, educate my children, so they don't have to go through the hardship that I go through. But they have to do with the mindset.
So moving on, Doctor, let's go back to Birkama, because you talked about the fact that the president highlighted the death and, the flooding in Birkama due to the rains. But you can see that the Birkama Area Council chairman in the papers is blaming government for the floods in Birkama.
How can you blame government for the floods in Birkama?
Well, he's blaming government.
How did he blame the government? What did he say?
That
it's cheap to blame government. It's cheap to put blame on people. It's very cheap. It's very easy. Everybody can do that. For my failures, I blame people. Everybody does that. That's the cheapest way, the easiest way to feel good. Whenever you are failed, and you point that he's responsible for my failure. Who is responsible for cleaning, for the cleanness of Birkama? Who is responsible for that? It's the councils. So if the council don't do their job and there is flooding because they don't do their job, how can you blame? That's very easy and very cheap.
But the problem seems inherited anyway.
What is inherited?
From the previous administration.
Yes.
With the Birkama Area Council.
Who are they blaming then?
Well, they're blaming government.
But who are they blaming then? Who are they blaming? They were not blaming Sirifo Sonko. Is it not the same UDP who was blaming Sirifo Sonko that he wasn't doing his job and he should be voted out because he's not doing his job? Now they are there. What have they done?
But they inherited a problem. We have to accept that.
But they came to say they're going to solve it. Did they solve it? That's why they are voted in.
Well, maybe
if you come to vote campaign against someone, you are campaigning against someone that he's not doing his job. He's responsible for the flooding and for the dirtiness of Birkama, that they should give you the chance to do it, and you do not do it. Why do you blame the government for that? Blame yourself.
Well, anyway, that is the problem there to be solved. But let's move on to the ATI law as well as the ATI commission. The commissioners have been okayed by the National Assembly, and their remuneration have also been accepted. But currently, there's still a conversation that remains around the commissioners because Nene McDolgay served as information minister under the former regime, which is the regime of Yahya Jammeh. And this is the person also selected to serve as a chairperson of the ATI commission how does that affect the independence and the integrity of this particular commission? Because at a time that Nene McDowell-Gay was the Minister of Information, freedom of speech was affected. People were tortured, disappearances and all of those things happened. People killed, journalists, their work was completely affected. And now that person is recycled to be a chairperson of an ATI commission. How ironical is that in this instance?
Let's be serious, guys. Nene McDowell has never been adversely mentioned in the TRRC, never adversely mentioned in the Journey Commission, never adversely mentioned in any commission of inquiry in this country. We all accept that there was the dictatorship in this country, one-man show. If we are saying that all those who worked under Jammeh should not be given a chance to work on this regime, then nobody is going to work, because everyone we are saying today has worked under Jammeh. Everybody has worked under Jammeh. How do you blame Nene McDowell for Jammeh's deeds? How do you blame her? She was serving our country. She served with dignity. While she was serving, she was never mentioned to have done anything wrong. If you bring it to me, we will revoke our decision to make her the commission's chairperson. That doesn't exist.
So you do not see anything wrong with being a Minister of Information at a point in time and freedom of expression was affected? You don't see that as a problem?
No,
you were minister at a time in a particular government where freedom of speech was never guaranteed. Journalists were arrested and, harassed and everything. You don't see that as a crime?
But let me tell you something. You see, we lived in a very unique situation. It was a dictatorship. Don't forget that. It wasn't like she was the one who was doing that. She was doing her job as information minister. She was serving her country, and she did it with dignity and with integrity. So if we had a system, a dispensation that was autocratic, that was the dictatorship, that did that, you cannot blame her for that.
Do you think if she really believed in independence and integrity, she could have resigned, like other ministers have done, considering that you're an individual who believes in
which minister ever resigned under Jammeh because of Jammeh's actions? Name me one. You said others. Which minister resigned?
No, she could have. But that was an option. Let's put it that way. That for example, if the independence and the integrity that you're talking about was really that important and freedom of expression was affected while you were minister, an option was there to resign, to say, I am an information minister, a former journalist for that matter, I want freedom of expression to be guaranteed, I am leaving. It's a question. Don't you think that was an option for her to do at a point in time, honorably, to keep her integrity?
Can I speak now?
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to say what was in Nene McDowell's mind at that time. What I can tell you is that if you, Jenaba, was information minister at that time, you would not resign.
Why not?
Because you would go to mile 2. People's lives were in danger at that time. You think you would resign under Jammeh and say, I'm resigning because there is no freedom of speech here? Your life, you'll be killed. It was that dangerous. Let's not judge people based on what was happening at that time. You see, context is important. You, Jenaba, if you are information minister under Jammeh, you wouldn't resign. You will continue doing your job to the best of your ability.
You cannot conclude on that.
So you want me to conclude what's on Nene McDowell's mind?
Well, I don't know. It was her show. She could have. The argument is that she could have resigned and went to exile.
Let me just close this topic. Let me close this topic.
Other people went to exile.
Let me close this topic. Let me close this topic. When it was time to appoint identify the commissioners, a robust system was put in place. GPU, Media Council, the Coalition for Access to Information, the Minister of Information, Minister of Justice, Minister of Interior, they created what they call the Key Stakeholders Forum. They met and received applications from qualified Gambians. And they did their selection process, which was very robust and very rigorous. Nene McDowell's name was put forward as one of those who qualified. They did all due diligence, all background check. She met all the criteria as in the Act, the ATI Act. She's Gambian, never adversely mentioned in a commission of inquiry. Why discriminate against her because she worked for Jammeh? How many people work for Jammeh and they are still in the system working and serving rightfully and they are delivering? I worked under Jammeh. I was at the university. Jammeh arrested Sirmati Jaw when I was at the university. Did I resign in protest to say that because she arrested Sirmati Jaw, my colleague, who was an academic? But what was
your contribution? The pack of influential lecturers. You led a movement during.
That was when I knew that Jammeh's days were gone. But when he arrested Sirmati, I did not do anything.
It doesn't matter. You could have still been affected.
Let me just finish. Let me tell you the process.
That really matters.
Let me tell you the process. Let me tell you the process. These names were chosen by the GPU, the Media Council, the access to information, the Coalition for Access to Information. These people are people with integrity, people who are well-known human rights activists. If all these group of people put forward Nene McDowell's name and take it to the president for appointment, then it means she's okay. And this GPU, these are people who will not bring anybody's name who did not deserve it. Media Council, the Coalition on Access to Information, Tango, all these are part of this process that selected Nene McDowell to go to the presidency for appointment. So who can say no? It was not like one person chose her. It's a process that was put in place, a very elaborate process.
Right.
Tango was involved, Media Council was involved, GPU was involved,
yes.
the Coalition for Access to Information involved.
Yes.
So if all these people, you know, people with integrity, people who knew what was happening in the country, choose Nene McDowell over all other people and say the president, please appoint her. I mean, what can anybody say about that?
Yeah, so moving on, apart from the commissioners, why did it take, 3 years for, the commissioners to be appointed, and now we feel that we are heading somewhere with the access to information law? Why 3 years?
Well, sometimes it has to do with resources to operationalize them. If these commissions are, you need to get offices, you need to make sure that you do the due diligence, you need to, like I said, it was an elaborate process. Yeah. We could have easily passed the act and handpick people. Yeah. No, it was a process that has to take place to make sure we get the right people, and that process has to be followed. The most important thing now is that the ETI Act is passed, commissioners are appointed, they've been confirmed by National Assembly, we are going to operationalize them, and now Gambians can benefit from having access to information. So
how soon is that going to be?
Within
the proper operationalization?
Before the end of the year, they'll be operationalized, the offices will be up and running, and you can also start to write to them. You can write to any office you want to get information, and they are bound to give it to you, otherwise you go to the commission.
Yeah, because even as we speak, there are some agencies where when you reach out to them, they'll be like, you have to write for clearance. But and the sad part, Doctor, is that we should not wait for a commission to be set. We should not wait for we should not wait for the commissioners to be employed for them to actually give us the information, because right now we should not wait till end of year. The law is already in place, and it says we need when we need information. Did
you try to seek information?
It's not me directly, but I've been a victim.
How did you
I've been a victim. I was asked to write a letter to interview someone at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital.
That's an interview. That's a different thing.
But it doesn't matter. It was that person was meant to give me information.
No, if you write to any agency seeking information and did not give it to you, then you can complain. But if you want to interview someone, that's a different thing.
That person was going to give me information still.
Yeah, but it's different. You did not request for information. You requested for interview.
No, I was requesting for information at that point. It was me requesting for information to talk to somebody to get an information about a particular topic.
It's a different thing. Requesting for an interview and get information is different.
Generally, they should just make it smooth.
But it's smooth.
It is not.
Sometimes now there is information overflow in this country now. We are giving so much information, journalists are running away now.
Journalists are running away. Which journalists?
Even you don't come to the press conference.
Because I am not, because obviously due to other priorities at the level of the television.
So now don't complain.
But journalists from
now
QTV...
Now there is information overflow in this country. There is so much information in this country that people don't even know what to do. People are even man this as information.
So how will these commissioners work? I mean, when you write to an institution, you need an information, and they did not provide the information. So what should you do? You write to the
let's say, for example, the act says that if you want information, let's say from Minister of Agriculture, you want to know how much fertilizer was bought, who was the supplier, how much was spent, and You're at the Ministry of the gatekeeper. It's called the gatekeeper. That is the permanent secretary, whoever he delegates in the ministry. It's called information officer. That my name is X, I'm a Gambian, I write to seek this information, Within 48 hours, that person must write to you to say, I've received your letter and I'm working on your information. Within 5 days, they must provide you information, or write to you to tell you why they cannot give you information. It's classified information because it's top secret or whatever. But they are obliged to give you that information, failure of which you can now go to the commission for the commission to deal with it.
But we are not limited to the informations that we are going to seek. I mean, maybe there are certain institutions you cannot know their information.
Like which one? Like I said, there are caveats.
Can I write to State House and ask President Barrow?
If it's public information, they are bound to give it to you, even at the State House. What they cannot give it to, for example, defense You cannot go and ask, say, how much did Gambia spend on weapons last year? What weapons did they buy? Those things are security related.
Yes.
So those things are highly classified information. We cannot divulge those in. But most info which should be in the public domain, which is for the public, they're accessible for public consumption. You can apply, you should get it, and nobody should stop it. It's a right, it's a human right. It's also a constitutional right for you to get access to those information.
Mande uma. Yo so mande wahal man mande uma. Man mande uma de.
Mungi mande.
But anyway, we've seen how Pura got the okay from your ministry to revoke licenses of about 5 radio stations in the Gambia due to expired licenses. You can delve into
Yes,
that.
of course. Not only expired, quite a few of them, not because it's expired, it's because they were issued license and they never operated.
Yes.
And the act says that you must operate within 6 months.
Time frame,
And they did not. We gave right to them to tell us why we should not revoke their licenses, and they did not give us a very good reason. So we revoked them. Some of them, licenses were expired since 2019. We wrote to them to engage Puira to start the process of renewing their licenses, and they never responded, so we revoked it. We're now reviewing almost 20-odd radio stations licenses who applied within the deadline of 10th of July. We're reviewing it, and those who meet the criteria will extend their licenses, will renew it. Those who did not, will give them every opportunity to deal, rectify the gaps. If they don't, we'll also revoke. So you might see more revocations to come in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, you're currently overseeing the Ministry of Digital Economy. You might not be in a position, but the fact that you are overseeing it, there are decisions that you can make within this time frame, especially, the use of government emails. A lot of websites are down. You check on websites and you see that it's not been updated for the longest time ever. You can't just hop onto
I'll give you a challenge now.
A website and
go to any ministry's website. If one is not working, let me know.
That is,
I'm
just going to give you a list after you
all
leave
websites
here. It's not just with
now.
Ministries. I'm talking about government institutions in general.
What I'm saying
Adedrami, whilst I'm on live, will prepare a list for you because he's always checking.
What I'm saying is that now we've worked on all the ministries' websites, and we're moving on to the next.
not just ministries,
we're
but
working.
government institutions.
These things cannot happen overnight. And there's a policy, a cabinet policy, which is that all government officials must use official emails, and we've prepared official emails for all government officials. It's a policy, it's a cabinet policy. But also now all ministries' websites are up and running. Recently, we just finished the Gambia government platform, a website for the Gambia government, which brings all ministries' websites together. It's a one-stop shop. Yeah. We'll launch it maybe this week, this month or next. We are going to launch it. It is called the .gm. That everything is there. Whatever you want to know, visas, tourism, investments, everything. It links you to all the ministries' websites. We are going to launch it very soon. It's already done. We are just going to do the final touches. Yeah. So and also all ministries now,
we're talking about government institutions.
Now all the other institutions now. For the ministry, the task was to build the website for all the ministries. Okay. That is done.
Yes.
Now it's for the different departments and agencies, we'll see what we can do. We are going to give them support also building.
Yeah, their websites are. I will give you a list. I'll email you a list of government institutions.
For 22 years, it's not been working. So
their websites are
at
not
least
working.
Under His Excellency, the President's vision is to transform Gambia into a smart state, and we are working on that. Very soon, Gambia will go total digital. Gambia will be one of the most digitally connected.
How soon, Doctor?
Very soon. We are working on it. You see, these things are roadmaps. These things are blueprints.
We are
There's a roadmap. That's a digital roadmap for the Gambia. Yeah. We are not far behind as compared to where.
We are behind.
As compared to where?
Senegal. Senegal is far ahead of us when it comes
but
to
let me tell you, Senegal had no disruptions in their democratic journey. Senegal has had a smooth ride. We've had a very disruptive period. 22 years, nothing absolutely worked in this country. It is within the past 7 years we've seen changes in this country. Democratic space opening up, development coming, we are building schools, we are building hospitals. The 1,500 bed hospital in Ferry is almost done. I shared the pictures yesterday. We're building roads everywhere, every length and breadth of the country. We've built over 1,000 kilometers of roads in the country. The hospitals have been transformed. Go to RVTH, it's been transformed. One of the best in the country today. We've transformed the health sector. We've built health centers in villages that health centers never existed before. So we are working, and within 7 years, it's very difficult to do these things in a transition. No country has been able to do it in a transition. So let's look at the bigger picture.
Don't you think you people are just implementing former president's projects?
Well, people praise Macky Sall, isn't it?
Yeah,
He continued Abdoulaye Wade's project. That's how government works. Government is a continuity. You want the you should praise Barrow for that.
The reason why I said that, you said within 7 years, but these things, they've been already there.
No, most of them were never there. I can tell you that one. And bring me evidence that they were there. These things are things that are initiated by His Excellency the President because of his vision for this country.
So you talked about the Farato, the
1,500 bed hospital.
You know, so are we going to have, you know, qualified doctors? Because normally it's a challenge to ensure that that form of decentralization.
I'll tell you something. For the first time in this country, we've created what they call the postgraduate school at the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences to train our own medical doctors. For the first time in the history of this country, we are going to have specialists. We are going to have consultants in various diseases in this country. And these specialists and these consultants, for the first time in the history of this country, will send them to different referral hospitals across the country, not only Banjul, so that wherever you are, you can get access to quality, dignified healthcare. For the first time in this country, we are training Gambian consultants and specialists in different clinical medicine to provide services for Gambians for the first time. You see, we are focusing not only hard component, building hospitals, the soft component also training qualified Gambians as specialists and consultants.
Yeah,
so that is solved. That is not a problem.
We are looking forward.
We are transforming lives in this country. We are transforming the healthcare sector, transforming education, transforming infrastructure.
But when it comes to education, obviously you have support of majority of the times. What is being done at the level of education is by development partners. For example, MRC Holland Foundation.
At least it is happening. At least it is happening.
Yeah, but not directly from government coffers.
At least it is happening. Most of the things you do is not given to you by yourself. Some people help you, isn't it? Who bought these nice clothes for you?
My pay. I'm a salary earner. Let that be clear. But thank you so much, Dr. Cisse, for joining us. It's always good to catch up with you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the Mansa Kunda, the ministerial town hall, because it is a very, very good initiative. And, you know, journalists are getting the opportunity to have face-to-face conversations with duty bearers, and also the press conference that is organized as well is really, really good. Dama la doon tooñ rek waaye mandi bi nga wax daal dafa mel ni mandee nguñ waaye ñu ngi jéem a mandi nag ñu ngi jéem a mandi ñu ngi tipsy because the information is flowing in a way, because we have that direct interface with, especially my favorite is the ministerial town hall. Such a brilliant idea. But I'll definitely come when you invite the Minister for Youth and Sports to come. I'll definitely come, because young people obviously is my main area. Okay. So definitely.
Are you still young? Or?
I am still young. I'm way, way young. I'm not even close to 35 yet. Have a nice day, Dr.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. So we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the head of the ferry services, because we have another controversial issue to delve into. We'll be right back.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell moy Sunyabus. Qcell mooy suñu boss Qcell mooy suñu boss
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And Ibrahima, we had a good session with Dr. Ismail Assise, who gave us an update on different issues happening in the government. And now moving on, we're joined by Mr. Tambedu, who's the General Manager of the Gambia Ferry Services. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. So recently, we've seen the controversy, surrounding the Gambia Ferry Service when the ferry was delayed for Honorable Sidin Jai, who's the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. And then we saw this particular press release from the Gambia Ferry Services, which also highlighted that, it clarified that the last ferry departure time from Bara is 9 p.m. to Banjul, and the ferry management was informed of the expected arrival of a number of MPs in a van and Deputy Speaker Honorable Sidin Jai in a separate vehicle, and that the van with the MPs arrived on time while the ferry waited for the Deputy Speaker until his arrival at 9:35 p.m. when the ferry departed for Banjul, and the actual delay for the departure was 35 minutes. So is this normal? Is this something normal for a ferry service at the level of the ferry service? Is this a normal thing to happen, to delay for 35 minutes to wait for a Speaker of the National Assembly or any member of the government of the Gambia?
Good morning, Jenaba and Ibrahima, I believe. I'm happy to be here to clarify some of these things and to add value to your program.
Yes.
I can confirm that it is normal for us to wait for dignitaries, but not everybody. And it is not also meant for seniority. It's not like the higher you go, you are waited.
Okay.
I will confirm to you that the week before, the North Bank Football Club, football team, I was contacted by the councillor from the North Bank, a lady, a councillor is available, and the ferry from Banjul to Bara, the last ferry. We always do it to assist with on the last ferry. The last ferry was delayed for 1 hour for similar reason. Instead of leaving Banjul from 8 to Bara, it left Banjul at 9 p.m. So it's not everyday issue, but occasionally we do it for last ferry. It's not for any special people. Whenever we are contacted and there is no emergency, we do it occasionally. That's the fact.
So was a survey done in the ferry to actually determine if there was no emergency, because videos were taken, and in the videos you can see old men and women. You don't know, you can't determine personal emergencies. It might not be an ambulance, but the emergency can be personal. It can be anything. Was that done?
Unfortunately, that was not done. And what we normally require the staff on board the ferry is to be look out for anything like that.
The emergency.
Yes, there could be an ambulance. If there was an ambulance, we would not have waited for anybody. Honorable Sidinjai or somebody else. Definitely, we would not have waited. This time, there was no, as far as we know, there was no emergency. And if we were informed of any individual emergency on board, the ferry would not have waited for the Honorable Sidinjai.
But you already saw that people were disgruntled. They didn't want to wait. That was already, I'm sure you were not on the ground, but your team could tell that citizens really who were in the ferry did not want to wait. Because they were disgruntled, making a lot of noise and all of that. So what do you have to say about that?
We have to apologize to the general public for that. If I was contacted as general manager or at the higher hierarchy or the managing director was contacted, and then we were made aware of heavy exchanges or heavy disgruntled among the traveling public, the ferry would not have waited for Honorable Sidinjai. That's the fact. So that's why when we heard of the issue, I was called and I talked to the people on the ground. That time he had already boarded and they were coming to Banjul, and the ferry arrived at Banjul 2200 hours at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Definitely. That is what happened, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, for me, I just want to add this. I mean, you said sometimes you do this for people, but not for special people. Like, you don't treat those cases specially, maybe not only for Honorable Sidi Njai, but you can do it for other people as well. Don't you think we should have that discipline now, whereby if the ferry is to leave at 9, even when it is you know, a person that called for the ferry to wait due to 1 or 2 reasons, the ferry will go. In other countries, they are not. If the train or the ferry is going at 1 p.m., you have to be there at least, you know, 10 to 1, so that you can join the ferry or the train. So don't you think we should have this, so that we can avoid such kind of issues next time? Yeah,
I think it's an issue that we may look at long term, once we improve the capacity. I think we also need to accept that the ferry service is a social service. It's an extension of the land between Banjul and Bara. That is the fact of the matter. And imagine whoever it is, like that day, the Saturday before the Honorable Sinja incident, when if the ferry from Banjul to Bara was not delayed for an hour, imagine the number of young boys and girls who would have slept in Banjul. Okay. Yeah.
So because the ferry waited, other people were able to join?
Yes. Okay. Because there a big football tournament that they were playing football, and then that was why we did it. So we do it because of the social nature of the service. Maybe a private operator would not have done that. It's possible. However, we are 100% owned by government, and there has to be some level of social support. That is why we do not even charge for school children using our service. That is all the reason. Because we are not a wholly run private entity. We are an extension of the government, of an arm of government. So strictly, if we had excess capacity, that would not have happened. But imagine a single ferry currently. The works on Kanilai are going very, very, very well. And
yes,
hopefully
I was going to come to that. How is it going? Because currently we only have Kunta Kinte. So problems like that, you know, waiting for somebody and all of that can be solved if we have, you know, the other ferry up and running to ensure that, you know, it moves side by side.
Yes, that's true.
How far?
Yeah, we have Kanilai. It was brought at the shipyard, slept since middle of May. We are replacing all the 4 engines to new engines because the old engines have run out of stock. Even if you had the money to pay, you would not see it. Okay. Yes, they were on MAN engines. Now we are changing it to Hyundai Doosan engines. They are South Korean engines, which was recommended by a good engineer, marine engineer, who has been working with us for many, many years. So all the 4 new engines will be changed, and then the cooling system will also be changed to new ones. And apart from that, the delivery is up to November. Yes, November 2024. The clutching system, the cardan shafts, all those, the pipings, the hydraulics are also going to be changed. So we are doing a big work. That is navigation on the machinery system as well. Yes, the navigation system also. Excellent for mentioning that. So that is going to be changed, and that is on top of the whole works that is being done at the shipyard. I'm sure you people should be aware. When you saw the news recently, you have seen that scraping is completed. They are doing sandblasting, replating, and doing the carpentry works, and then we repaint. Once that is done, all the 4 new engines would be changed. The hydraulics pipings would be changed, and we would have an almost new ferry. Like
Mr. Tambedo, I keep asking this question to officials of the Gambia Ferry Service because it's a very huge concern for me, which is the capacity. I just feel like the capacity of individuals getting into the ferry is never put into consideration, and it's just something I've never been comfortable with. And, you know, I've been engaging a lot of officials from the Gambia Ferry Service, and they've been like, oh, we'll get to regulate this. We'll get to put things in place to ensure that when we know there's a certain number by looking we will stop the rest and the rest will get to wait for the next ferry for safety purposes.
Yeah.
How far with that?
No, we tell you, Jennifer, we want to say that we never overload the ferry. You know,
in no circumstance?
No, we don't. We don't. We do not overload the ferry. That is why, if you remember, during the Tobaski festival,
yes,
festivities, you were all here, we would go a whole ferry without even a single vehicle. The operations team would monitor the weight, they know the weight, the capacity, and then they work it out in such a way that...
Mr. Tambedo, I might not agree with you on that. The reason why I can't agree with you on that is because the ferry has seats.
Yes.
Sitting areas. It also has where people are supposed to stand.
Yes.
And sometimes you can tell this is overloaded. Look at this, for instance. Look at what we are seeing. Is it supposed to be this way? Is this how it's supposed to look? This packed? It looks packed.
Yeah, it looks packed.
Yes.
But
so there are instances, Mr. Tambedo, it has been overloaded.
I think I was...
Or you disagree with me?
I was very concerned. When
you.
Last week I used the ferry, but I was concerned the number of passengers that the ferry should take. I think at a single go, it's written on the ferry.
Yes, 700.
700.
700, yes.
Okay.
With 700, with
vehicle.
21 vehicles.
21 vehicles.
Yes.
You know, so I mean...
So, multiply these 21 vehicles by the weight of each vehicle, and you divide that into the weight per average weight of a person between highest weight about 90, 100, average 50, 60. You have a lot of people for that. So we do. I can assure you.
I don't agree with you too. You don't. You might not agree with me, but I don't agree with you too. I strongly believe there are times that the ferry has been overloaded.
Yes,
because
it is overcrowded. You can say overcrowded, but we do not overload the weight. No, we do not. It's overcrowding because.
But should it be in a normal circumstance? Is it best practice to overcrowd a ferry?
No, that is why. That is why once we improve our capacity, we would go for vehicle-only ferry and passenger-only ferry. Once you do that, imagine if the current design of Kunta Kinte, where there were seats only along the car deck area, we would not allow people to sit on top of one another. So it would be easily regulated, and there wouldn't be overcrowding. But because of the present design, so we would improve the design.
So is there any possibility where we will get ferries that will not take vehicle, but only passengers? Yes. Passenger ferries.
Yeah, we want to do that, but we can only do that once we have adequate capacity. Imagine if, because most of the people going also, they have their vehicles. So if you have a passenger-only ferry now, without adequate capacity to transport vehicles, you will have people waiting for long hours to cross. Yeah, that is why this mixture of passenger and vehicular traffic is what we have at the moment. So once we improve the capacity, have more ferries, then we can have the dedicated passenger-only ferry.
Okay.
And that is the plan.
So Mr. Tambedo, currently we are all guessing.
Yes.
You know, with our argument, you don't agree with me that it's overcrowded. I say it's overcrowded. So we are both guessing. You know, but is there any plans? I know the digitalization is on the go, especially now that there's an app. I like that where you can check your phone and know how many minutes the ferry is away and all of that, and passengers can plan accordingly. That is a good thing. But part of the digitalization also can be, you know, for example, in Senegal, they have certain ferries where when you buy a ticket, you know, there's a system where it has to mark before you get in. And when it does, then they can tell that, oh, this are the number of people inside and the capacity is this, so the ferry leaves and the rest go. So what kind of, I know recently there was this partnership with the Turkish as well. I would want you to delve into that as well.
Yeah, actually we are also in our roots to digitization, and that not only the app, even the buying of tickets. You can buy tickets through your mobile phone on an app or an ISP. So that is in the pipeline. So, and that will help also secure the number of passengers, as you said, and also even the names. We are challenged, we are required by law to take the names of people through manifest But now we are challenged because some people, because of cultural reason,
Wow.
so that is a challenge.
Yes.
But once you pay through when your phone, you scan your phone and you do your payment, your name easily comes on. And now even illiterate people use WhatsApp to communicate, so they can easily pay by app or by one of the the soft means of doing payment. So definitely it's in the pipeline. On the Turkish partnership that you said, we do not have any partnership with any Turkish.
No, I mean the GPA.
Yes, the GPA.
Yeah,
okay, yes.
I don't mean the ferry.
The ferries.
I mean
the
at the
GPA,
level at
yes.
the GPA.
Okay, that is on the concessioning. I'm sure
yes.
the ferries, the ports management
Yes.
can elaborate on
More
that. But
on,
the port has been concessioned on a 30-year concession with Al-Berak.
Yes.
I believe that is the name of the company.
Company.
And they have started the ball rolling. Actually, they have started demolishing the area and clearing out the dirt to extend the container terminal. So as part of the initial works for both Banjul and Sanyang, a deep sea port in Sanyang.
Yeah.
So what about the CRR ferry? They are still using that pool ferry.
Yes.
The one they use
Bansang.
pool, yes.
Yes.
So what are we doing about that ferry?
That one, the new one, the old one that was there, we have about 2 weeks ago sent the ferry, a motorized ferry. Yeah, so it should be up and running hopefully in the next week or two. It has already been rehabilitated and sent. It's currently in Bansang, between Bustown and Bansang. That's where it should fly. So hopefully in the next week or two, it will start.
Because according to the residents of that area,
yes.
There is a ferry,
yes.
but the ferry has
It's pulled.
No, they brought a ferry with fault. You understand? So there is a ferry that is faulty. I think the ferry is not working. That's why they're still using those ropes to pull the ferry.
Yes, yes. No, but the motorized, I don't know of any faulty ferry, but the motorized ferry, it has been rehabilitated and it will be operational in the next week or two. Okay. Right now, the one being pulled is there. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Mr. Tambedo, for joining us on the program, and thank you for also taking responsibility for the incident that happened, and hopefully something like that will not happen again.
Definitely,
which you are assuring the general public that something as such will not happen, and we are happy about that, and looking forward to when Kanilai will be ready, so that we'll have 2 ferries. You know,
before I conclude, I want to say that once we have Kanilai back, we want to even do a 24-hour service.
Wow, really?
That's my promise to the whole country.
All right.
Yes.
We're looking forward to that. We're definitely, you know, so that people can travel at any time, at their convenient time.
Exactly.
We're looking at the digitalization aspect. Thank you so much for always willing to join us on the program to update us, and have a nice day. Ibrahima, that is all we have time for. And you said you're looking forward to an amazing week, right? With a lot of money?
To a very good week.
And we agreed you have to work first.
With a lot of money.
You don't agree still? You have to work first, pray and hope?
You have to be hopeful, pray, then work hard.
All right, but before we leave, let's talk about the Olympics a little bit. Mr. Tambedo, are you following? We have the likes of Gina Bass, Judoka Fainjai, and all of them. But currently, swimmer Aminata Maribaro narrowly missed a spot in the women's 100 meters breaststroke semi-finals, finishing 4th in the heat 1 with a time of 1 minute 15 seconds. This marks Aminata's debut at the Olympics, and she's also the first female swimmer to represent the Gambia at the Olympics. Judoka Fainjai will be the second Gambian athletic to compete in the ongoing 2024 Paris Olympics. And the judoka is set for a morning fight in the men's 73 kilogram with a Spanish on Monday, 29th August at 10 a.m. Fai, who is a Commonwealth silver medalist, will be eyeing his first Olympic medal, and we're looking forward to that. So good luck to judoka Fainjai, Gina Bass, and the rest of the team. I just hope you're following, Mr. Tambi.
Yes,
it's an exciting thing for the Gambia.
It is.
It's a very small team, but we are looking forward to.
Yeah.
even we ñun bañuñ dara bronze sax ñun nañ indi medal
why society you can see we've gone a long way.
Yes.
Them mentioning our name and playing our national anthem. I mean, Lulu Rek is something good for this country.
And I think I would also congratulate QCell with your partnership with Gina Bass. I think it's a good thing. We need to have the private sector supporting sport in this country rather than mainly government and the state-owned enterprises. And this donor fatigue at the level of the SOE is a problem.
It is a problem.
Once we have the private sector partnering, it's something welcome, and I want to congratulate you and thank you.
Thank you.
And you know what? QCell actually signed Gina Bass for this particular endorsement deal. It should not stop there. I think other companies as well should emulate this, because it's not just Gina Bass that is doing well. Judoka Fainjai is doing quite well. He's a Commonwealth medalist, you know, and we also have Lamin Kamara. Although Lamin has never brought a medal to the Gambia, but Lamin Kamara, who's representing the Gambia, Ibrahima Kamara, who's representing the Gambia in the 100 meters as well as the 200 meters, he's been very consistent. You know, sometimes it's not about the medal that you bring, but the consistency that you always put forward when you are at the level of the track. We also have the one for the 800 meters. It's just a lot of them. So I think other companies should come on board and sign other individuals, which will also serve as motivation for Gina Bass. I feel like she's gotten all the half flowers at this point. So we should now shift our attention to other athletes as well, to ensure that other people are motivated to take on those areas. But good luck to Fainjai. We're all rooting for you on the 29th of August at 10 a.m. against this particular Spanish. I don't know who this Spanish is, but it's I don't know who this Spanish guy is, but we know we are rooting for our Mr. Njai, and we hope that he will proceed to the semifinals and eventually go to the finals. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on the program. That is all we have time for till we come your way tomorrow with another interesting program. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.